In this lesson, we'll learn what tool presets are and how we can create them here inside of Photoshop. Okay, great. So I've got this image here of a fish, and this will work. Any image will actually work to demonstrate this particular lesson with. But, you know, when we were talking about brushes here inside of Photoshop, if I go ahead and hit the B key on my keyboard and grab my brush tool, you can see here that we have our brush preset picker. Now, these brush presets record all of the brush attributes that we currently assign to them when we create them. And we've learned in a previous lesson that there are a number of different brush presets here inside of Photoshop. We can actually come in here and actually load a number of different default brush preset libraries, or we can create our own library of brush presets and save them out. Now, brush presets are different than a tool preset, and this is something that I think stumps a lot of new Photoshop users. So brush presets are great, but really tool presets are bigger than the brush tool. So for tool presets, there's actually a tool preset picker right over here. So you can actually tap on that little arrow and you can see all of the currently loaded tool presets inside this tool preset picker. Now this is different than your brush preset picker, which is right here. Your tool preset picker is here, and you can see it has a little icon next to each one of these presets that tells you which tool that particular preset is using. Now, like I said, tool presets are way bigger than just brush presets. Obviously, any tool pretty much can have a preset. So you can see here, we can create a preset for the way that we utilize our eyedropper tool. We can come in and create a preset for the way that we utilize our eraser tool. We can create a tool preset for really any one of these tools inside the tool panel. Now, there's also an actual panel that you can open up that correlates directly with that tool preset picker. If we come up here under Window and go to Tool Presets, you'll see here we have this Tool Presets panel that opens up, and it mimics kind of what we see inside that tool preset picker. So why would we want to utilize tool presets? Well, let's say for instance this is an image that we want to crop, and we want to crop this in a very specific format and also have it resampled to a certain number of pixels per inch. So let's say we wanted to crop this maybe into a 5x4 inch format. You can see here that as soon as I click on that tool preset, the crop tool is selected and it loads up those specific settings. You can see 5 inches by 4 inches and 300 pixels per inch. Now, this is really great because I can come over and just simply grab that specific tool preset rather than having to come over and grab my crop tool and then manually configure those settings up here inside the control panel. Really useful. So we could even come in and actually maybe scale this down some and maybe center up on that fish. Maybe that's what we're wanting to crop to. So if we were to do that, obviously it would crop this image. So I'm not going to do that at this point. Let's come up here and hit that cancel button. And we'll just come back over to our tool presets panel and take a look at a couple more of these. So again, right now I have the crop tool selected, but you can see here there is actually a number of different tool presets we could maybe take a look at. Here's one for a circular rainbow gradient. And if you see here, we'll just come in and drop in a new layer, and I'll just click and drag, and there is our circular radial gradient. So you can see there's really a limitless amount of options available to you through tool presets. In this case, we've actually recorded a very specific gradient and saved that as a tool preset. So now we don't have to come over to our gradient tool, come over and figure out if we have the correct gradient preset loaded in our gradient preset picker here. We can store all of that information right here inside the tool preset. So let me go ahead and fill this layer with white. I'm going to hit Control Backspace, and it'll fill that with my background color here. And I'm going to come back over to my Tool Presets panel, and I'm going to scroll down here until we see some brushes. Now, it may seem kind of conflicting to have both a brush preset as well as a tool preset for the brush tool. It's just kind of confusing. A lot of terminology that's very similar there, and I understand that. So let's just come in and grab maybe this 2B pencil, and you can see here when I grab that, it automatically switches over to that what looks like an erodible tip. If we come over here and check our brush panel, Yep, that is an erodible tip brush that mimics a 2B pencil. So not only did this switch to this particular brush, and you can see if I begin to draw with that, we can actually zoom in on that, and you can see here that first, my foreground color is no longer set to black. So a tool preset, in this case for the brush tool, will actually record a color as well. So in this case, it's recording this gray color. You can see it's right about here inside our color picker. It's also recording, if you look really closely at these strokes, there's also kind of a really subtle paper texture that's being recorded inside this 2B pencil. So let's come over here to our brush panel and take a look. So here is where our dynamics are recorded inside this tool preset as well. So you can see here the following dynamics were included, including this texture dynamic, which you can see here has one of these textures actually saved inside the tool preset. So again, tool presets are very, very powerful, whereas a brush preset will just record the dynamics that you save for a specific brush. A tool preset will record really cool things like color. It'll actually save like opacity and flow settings. Maybe you have a custom opacity and flow that you like to always use your 2B pencil at. Let's come in here and maybe select this non-photo blue pencil. And you can see here my color automatically gets changed to that blue. And if we come over here and look, we have very similar dynamics that have been saved inside that particular tool preset. You can come in here and you can play with any one of these that you'd like to. Now, this probably raises the question, how do we actually create our own custom presets? Well, it's very, very simple. All we need to do, let's just, maybe we want to base our custom tool preset off of, let's see, what do we got here? This airbrush soft round. Let's use something different. Let's use, this one's kind of nice. Let's use this one. This one is the Paintbrush Oval 45 Pixels Multiply. So you can see that the tool preset is set to multiply. So every time I come in and brush over that, it's multiplying that color on top of itself. So you can see that's slowly getting darker as I begin to multiply that. So let's say that we wanted to create this same paintbrush, this oval 45 pixels, but maybe instead of multiplying, we actually want to use something like a linear dodge or linear add here. So we'll just simply change the blend mode here for our brush, and we could actually come in and choose a different color. Maybe we want this to be kind of an orangish yellow color. And we'll come in here and just simply hit this button right here. Now, we could always come into the panel menu right here and do a new tool preset. There's also some buttons up here in the tool preset picker we can utilize right here or right here. So let's come in and create our new tool preset, and we'll just call this one something very similar to what the previous one was. Paintbrush Oval 45 Pixels Linear Dodge. There we go. And we'll go ahead and hit OK. And now we can come in and cycle back and forth between these two, and you can see how that's beginning to dodge away. Again, utilizing that blend mode here. So pretty cool. Now, when it comes to tool presets, you'll obviously notice that we're looking at all the tool presets at once right here. And if this gets a little bit confusing for you, don't worry, there's ways that we can sort of filter this list down. So you can see here there's actually a box down at the bottom that we can check that says, what are the tool presets for the current tool only? So if I check that, you can see I have my brush tool selected, and only tool presets for the brush tool are currently visible here. We can also do this up through our panel menu. You can see there are some sorting options here. Sort by tool, and then maybe show all tool presets, and that'll take us back to all of the tool presets again. So again, there are those same options over here in your tool preset picker right here if you click on this little gear button. But these are tool presets, and these are a really great way to remember specific settings for maybe a task that you do over and over again here inside of Photoshop, and save them all inside kind of one central location, in this case a tool preset. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next lesson. We're going to kind of switch gears. We've been talking a lot about tools over the last few lessons, but we have really kind of skipped over one key part of Photoshop, and that's masking. So in the next lesson, we're going to move on and we're going to learn how to utilize a layer mask.